Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we will look at some words that were borrowed from Greek in the Turkish language and vice versa, words that have been borrowed from Turkish in the Greek language. Both Greeks and Turks have interacted a lot, especially during the Ottoman reign in the region that lasted for about 4 straight centuries, which led to a long-lasting exchange of words between both cultures. Now, according to the Turkish Language Institute, there are 413 words of Greek origin in Turkish. In parallel, it is said that there are more than 300 Turkish words that are used daily in the Greek language nowadays. So the video will be divided into 2 parts. First, I'll give you 15 words that the Turks gave to the Greeks, and in the second half, we'll go through another 15 words that were given to the Turks directly from the Greeks. There will be also 3 extra interesting words at the end, so make sure to watch till the end. And of course, if you liked the video, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is that would motivate me to make other videos in the future. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first, we'll look at 15 Turkish words in Greek. The first word is kavgas, which comes from the Ottoman Turkish kavga, which means fight or debate, something like that. The second word is alışverişi, which is a Greek word that was borrowed from the Ottoman Turkish alışveriş, which means basically trade or commerce. But nowadays in modern day Turkey, we use it in the sense of shopping. Like, for example, alışverişe gitmek istiyorum. I want to go shopping. However, note that the Greek word alışverişi is a more or less outdated word because we would rather use psonia in modern day Greece. The third word is dulapi, the Greek word dulapi, which comes from the Turkish dolap, meaning closet. And note that Turkish has the word buzdolabı, which is fridge, basically in English. And if we were to break down this word, you'd get buz, which is ice, and dolabı, closet. So it's literally ice closet, which is a very creative word, I suppose. Now the next word is bolikos, which comes from Turkish bol, meaning plentiful, abundant, and ikos, which is the adjective masculine suffix in Greek. For example, μην ανησυχείς, έχουμε μπόλικο φαγητό για όλους. Don't worry, we have a lot of food for everyone. So we would use it in this context. So yeah, bolikos comes from the Greek bol, which is abundance or plenty of. Now we have the word tsanta in Greek, which comes directly from the Ottoman Turkish çanta, meaning bag, and it also gave Levantine dialects the word shanta. I'm not really sure about the Palestinian and Jordanian one, but I'm sure about the Lebanese and Syrian ones. So yeah. Next one is bouzouki, which is a Greek stringed instrument having a long fretted neck and usually a pear-shaped body. It looks like the oud instrument in the Arab world. And it comes from the Turkish bozuk, which means out of order or rotten or broken. I don't know why they call it this, but it's a Turkish word. So the next one is karamboya. So kara is black and boya is paint. And it's borrowed from Turkish karaboya, which means black paint, basically. So the next word is tavani, meaning ceiling, and it comes from the Ottoman Turkish tavan. But in Greek, we rather use orofi nowadays instead. Tavani is pretty much an outdated word, I would say. The next one is an expression used in Greece, and it's apopou kiospu, And in Turkish, it means it's nereden nereye, literally. So from where and until where. And it's a calque of Turkish nereden nereye. And it means, so the equivalent is like for some reason or another, I don't quite know why or for what reason, something like that. The next one is yuharo. And it comes from Turkish yuha, which is blowing your raspberry, doing something like that, plus the verb ending, which is iso in Greek. So it's used to insult someone by whistling and making loud noises and not letting them speak by interrupting them. The next one is kalderimi, kalderimi in Greek, and it comes from Turkish kaldırım, which is sidewalk or pavement. So the next word is dunduka in Greek, dunduka, which comes from Turkish düdük, meaning megaphone or a whistle, basically. The next one is haramı, which comes from Turkish haram, meaning forbidden or in vain. Like, for example, όλες οι θυσίες μου πήγαν haramı, meaning all my sacrifices were in vain. It can also be used as a verb, to waste or to squander. For example, χαραμίσαμε εκατομμύρια ευρώ και αρκετά χρόνια για αυτό το έργο. We squandered a lot of money and a lot of time for this job or to get the job done. So that was basically it. The next word is peskiri, peskiri, borrowed from Turkish peşkir, plus the suffix for neuter nouns that was added in the Greek word. So it's basically a towel for the face. Now on to the last word that we have in this category is, the word is boyadzis. It comes from Turkish boyacı, meaning painter, basically. So boyadzis, boya is paint, and zis is the suffix added for people or professions in general. So now let's look at the second category of words, 15 Greek words in the Turkish language. The first one is efendi. Efendi in modern Turkish efendi, it's a borrowing of the medieval Greek aphendes from the ancient Greek avthendes, meaning master, author, doer, perpetrator, and was given as a title of nobility, placed always after the name, like, for example, Dr. Efendi, but nowadays we usually use Dr. Bey instead of Dr. Efendi. The second word that we have is temel, and it's borrowed from the ancient Greek themelios. Themelios meaning something belonging to the foundation, or themelio, which is foundation or base per se. So like base for a statue, for example, or foundation of a temple. Now on to the third word, which is anahtar. This Turkish word comes from modern Greek, roughly in the 15th century AD. And the word was anachtire in Greek, in ancient Greek, in medieval Greek, which is basically bottle opener, tin opener, or even a can opener. Next word is karnabahar, which is cauliflower, and it comes from the ancient Greek krambu, plus bahar, which is spring. So krambu is cabbage and bahar is spring. So spring cabbage is cauliflower. But I'm not really sure about the word bahar being Greek. I suppose it's rather Persian. It's from Persian origin, I suppose, but I'm not really sure about that one. So next word is fasulye, which is beans in English, and it comes from the ancient Greek, fasulia or fasolia. The next one is liman in Turkish, and it originated in the medieval Greek period. The word was limenas, which means bay or port. Next word is Istanbul, which is the Turkish name of Constantinople, and it developed in Turkish around the 16th century AD as a corruption of Greek phrase Eistimpoli or Eistimpolin, which is how the local Greek population referred to it in the beginning of the 16th century. Let's also not forget that the Turks borrowed a lot of religious lexicon from the Greeks, being Orthodox Christians. Like, for example, we have the Ottoman Turkish kilisa, which is kilise in modern-day Turkish, which comes from the Byzantine Greek ekklesia. So that was the first one. The second religious word is vaftiz in Turkish, which is basically baptism, and it's vaftisma in Greek. The third one is ikon, which comes from ancient Greek ikon, which is religious icon. Then we have the word lahana in Turkish, which comes from, which is borrowed from Greek lachano, which means green vegetables in general, and more specifically cabbage, kale, cole, and other cruciferous veggies. Then we have the word ergat in Turkish, which comes from ancient Greek ergatis, which basically means worker. Then we have the word matis in Turkish, which comes from Greek methisos, but in Turkish slang it means stoned or drunk. Then we have the word karpuz, meaning melon, and this one comes from the Persian kherbez or kharbuz, and it's likely been influenced from ancient Greek karpos, meaning fruit, grain, or produce. Last but not least, we have the Turkish slang salos, meaning stupid, and it's a borrowing from the Greek salos, meaning fool. And I suppose French could have borrowed it as well and transformed it into salut, but this is just an assumption, like a silly guess. Now on to the 3 extra words. So the first one is maydanoz in Turkish, which comes from the Ottoman Turkish maydanoz, an already medieval borrowing from Arabic ma'dunis, which comes from the ancient Greek makedonision, meaning Macedonian herb. And by the way, it means parsley. So they referred to parsley as Macedonian herb back then. And dialects in the southeast with continuous influence of Arabic also gave Bahdenis, and it probably reborrowed from the Arabic variant Bakdunis, which we already have in Arabic. The second extra word is pusula, which comes from the ancient Greek puxis, meaning box. This word spread in the 14th century AD after the invention of compasses being boxed, being put in a box. And the third and last word is karagözliki, from Turkish karagözlük, which is a ridiculous act or performance bringing shame on the performer. And it's weird because we actually use it in Lebanese Arabic. We say karakoz, like for example, shuhal karakoz, meaning a person who has a ridiculous, shameful act. So this was the end of the video. I hope you found it interesting. And see you soon in another one. Happy New Year to everyone. Kalichronia seolus. Herkese mutlu yıllar. Ciao. Take care.